Yeah, hi, it's 5th of October 2018 at 5 p.m. Just before I get started, just for, for those who I haven't told personally, uh, what I'm doing is I'm making a pretend or an imaginary around the world tour. Yesterday I was on a ship, today I'm in Bali, Indonesia. I just thought I'd do it as I'll just after this I might go to Malaysia or Vietnam. Not sure yet. Don't know where I'll go. I might spend another day in Bali. Not sure. It's all much the same as this, so probably not. But anyway, I was sitting here last night and I was watching this video. I was about some head mistress in the UK, and she was going on about whether girls had to make up their mind whether they wanted a dating site or metoo. And apparently there's some television program there called Love Island or something. James, you probably know, you can correct me on it. I can't remember what it was. But it was something, I don't even know what it was about. In fact, I was just sort of sitting here half listening to it and half thinking about a conversation I'd had with Daniel in town yesterday. He's a friend of mine I've known for a long time, and I was sort of half thinking about that. And because I really couldn't understand what the hell they were talking about with all this Love Island sort of stuff, and it was and then sort of out of the blue, this headmistress in a very strict tone started talking about how boys had to be retrained, presumably young boys, I guess. Yeah, they had to be retrained, and it was just sort of, it was odd because I had Daniel in mind. I had this headmistress talking about training, and then suddenly something clicked about the mouse utopian experiment. Now, for those of you who don't know what the mouse utopian experiment is, it's really interesting. It's one of the guys on the channel told me about it. I had a look at it. I watched it a couple of times. I probably have to watch it another couple of times. I'd like to see more about it, but I can't remember the guy's name. But he got this land in the forest, quite substantial piece of land. It's quite large, and he made a mouse city, rat city. It was rat. He used rats in the first experiment, and it was to he was going to control the environment and then study rat behaviour. What happened to the rats? Anyway, I can't remember what happened in the first experiment, but I don't think it did what he wanted to do or something. And then he did a second experiment, and this time it was with mice. But what happened is he changed the environment in such a way that it became can only be described as hell. Hell for the men anyway. So they had the male dominance, and they had those that became homosexuals and those that became pansexual, and it was just I'd have to watch it again, I guess, to get the whole gist of it. But by changing and modifying the environment, he could create the outcome that occurred, and it was hell, basically. Anyway, I was thinking about this, and I thought, as this headmistress was going on, and I was thinking about Daniel, and I thought, no, wait a minute, hang on. In the mouse experiment, the researcher, was changing the environment. And look, the environment is probably being changed for us as well. But it was something about the way this woman was talking about it, and it was like, okay, we've changed your environment, boys and men. We've changed all of this. We've changed the whole environment. We've changed everything, which they have. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So now we're going to train you how we want you to behave within that environment. We're going to retrain you. Presumably that's what she was talking about. But we've changed all of this. Now we're going to change the way you've behaved, or the way you behave, because we want to get an outcome like such and such. And I thought about it, so I thought, yeah, well, this is sort of like the experimenter was changing the environment. But in the mouse experiment and the rat experiment before it, the boundaries were fixed. The rats and then later the mouse, they were contained within that set defined area. That's it. They couldn't get outside. They weren't. It put netting or something around it. They had to live within that environment. And that's just where I think what's happening to us is different. I don't think we even realise what we're doing a lot of the time. You know, I've women come on here and stop your whining, stop your whinging, you know, blah blah. And they think that I'm talking about women, and frankly, I don't give a stuff about it. I'm not. I have no interest in. This is a men's channel. This is how men are surviving. This is what's happening to the men, the guys. You know, I have a sex thing anyway. I've had my children and what have you. I really don't care for sex. So, you know, it's just not worth the hassle. You know what they say, the juice is not worth the squeeze. So I couldn't be bothered with it. And so I'm really not interested in what women are doing. And yeah, I think it's wrong. I think it's but it's all part of something to change our environment. So I'm really actually underneath it all. I'm more interested in how we're adapting. What the guys are doing to adapt, what I'm doing to adapt. And what's happened is there's no doubt about it, the environment has been, our mouse cage, if you like, has been changed to favour women. It's almost as if somebody said, okay, now let's change it so, you know, it works, you know, goes like that. You know, it's great environment for women, terrible environment for men. That's what it really feels like. It feels like an experiment that we're a part of. And a lot of us are probably upset thinking, God, can't the women see that, you know, it's what's happening? And it just seems that they're, yeah, isn't this funny? You're really getting fucked over. We don't find it funny. We don't find it the slightest bit amusing. But they do. So, I mean, but this video is not about that. I mean, that's just what people are like. But what this video is about is how we are changing and how we're modifying. And really, it's having unexpected consequences. And I'm not sure anybody can see it, actually what's happening. It's the way I'm looking at it is it's kind of created two worlds, at least two. You've got, just imagine a dome, you know, a dome and all the rats and mice and whatever are living inside that, you know, and it's got the borders and that sort of thing. And that's the old world. And that's the one that's been modified. That's the one that's been, where the environment has been changed for people living in that world. So, you know, if anybody wants to live within that world, and yeah, then they have to change to suit the changed conditions. You know, that it's what we, you know, conditions that we find unfavourable to men. You know, maybe men find them favourable. I have no idea. But that's the old world. It's there in this dome and it's contained and can't really grow. Okay. But put another dome over the top of it, if you will. Just a bigger, you've got your little one. And this is the one we're living in. And all of this there is cyberspace and all sorts of different things, okay? But we're sort of, in a sense, we've expanded the world so we can move. It's like we've created more space in our environment. This channel, for example, and channels like it is an example of that. You get a sense that, you know, you're known. You come here to chat. You come here to watch a video. You know, see what the other guys are saying, that sort of thing. It's sort of it's like it's a new world. It's a new outlet for you. It's somewhere to come, somewhere to, you know, just, you know, something you might do for half an hour a day or whatever, or a couple of hours a day, whatever. But this is where you come. This is part of your new world. And it's like you're in the sort of a mouse experiment where, yeah, all us guys sort of go and hang around in the peripheral on the outside of the environment, that was set up. Somehow we've managed to climb over the walls, and we're outside. And we come inside. We spend a little bit of time in in the old world, but a lot of the time we spend out of it. Now, what we do in this new world that we're creating, it's different. I've noticed a lot. It annoys me a little bit, but a lot of MGTOWs. I know you should do it this way, or used to. Not so much anymore, but no, they have to do it this way and this way and this way. And I look at it and I think, no, any man is a man going his own way. The basic thing about MGTOW is two things. We're distancing ourselves from society to a large extent, or at least to some extent. Some to a large. Okay, this is this different world I'm talking about. If you're just living a little bit outside it, at some extent. If you're living a lot outside it, that's a large extent. And the other thing is we're turning our back on marriage. At no point does anybody, my understanding of, we hate women or hate feminists or anything else like that. No. Look, some guys might be in that situation, but that's not really the point of MGTOW, not that I see it. No, it's turning our back on traditional marriage, turning our back on what society has set up. Basically because they're changing the environment so that it's just so uncomfortable and we don't like it. So we try to fit in as best we can, but we can't fit in with it and don't want it. Like false accusation and all that sort of thing, and and she can say anything she wants, and yep, you're dead. Yeah, no, a lot of us don't want that. It's just it's just too risky for us, and that's our right. I don't think any of us are thinking, well, okay, that's fine. If you want to do that, you do that, but you do it alone. We don't want to be part of it. Yeah, so this is what we're doing, as I said, to some extent or to a large extent. Now, I'll do another video on this tomorrow, more in line with what I'm doing in my experience. But I thought today I'd talk about what my friend Daniel is doing. The guy I was talking to at the supermarket yesterday. Or was it the day before? I can't remember. And, after we got over hearing the gripes all about the kids and, what's going wrong with them and that sort of thing, Daniel's about 50, okay? Works at the post office, been there ever since I knew. I met him years ago. I used to stand there and chat to him. I sort of got around, I haven't spoken to him for ages. I got around to talking to him, I said, he separated from his wife 7 or 8 years ago or something. She's since remarried. And I said, what about you, Daniel? Do you have a woman or whatever, or are you just alone? I said, oh, no, I've got a girlfriend. I've got a woman. I said, oh, that's good. How's it going? Oh, she's brilliant. Really good. Oh, yeah. And anyway, we got to talking about it, and he said, well, I started going out with her. She's funnily enough, an assistant headmaster, I think, or headmistress. And they hit it off, and they were going along pretty well, and that sort of thing. Anyway, one day she said, well, when my boys move out, you can move in to my house. She lives in another town. And Daniel said, no, I don't want to do that. And she was a bit taken aback. He said, no, if I want to come home and scratch my balls and pick my ass, that's just what I want to do by myself. And she was just, I don't know exactly what her reaction was, but he said no. And he said, no, it had to happen 7 years ago, and it's, look, she's got her life, I've got my life, no, we don't live together. We visit one another, we do things, we go out, we do all of this, but no, we don't live together. And that's interesting. He said, it works. It works. And he said in the end, it's like perpetual courtship. He said, I do crazy things like, I'll pick a garden, pick a rose out of someone's garden and put it under her windscreen wiper, so she'll know that it was from me. And he says he still does that sort of stuff 7 years later. And we talked about it. I explained that I've got a MGTOW channel and what have you, and I'm MGTOW. And I said, gee, Daniel, I would classify you as being MGTOW myself. I'd say you're MGTOW. You're a man who's, been stuffed over with marriage and whatever, and you found a new way to go, a way that suits you, a way that works for you. You know, so a lot of MGTOW wouldn't classify you as MGTOW, but I do, because you're walking away from marriage to begin with, and you're outside society norms. See, as he said, you know, it was just, you know, when she said, oh, well, you know, when the boys move out, you know, we're going on, well, yeah, you can move in. You know, and how often does that happen? And you just fall into, you know, hell, basically. And he just said, no, I'm not going in there. No, I'll stay at home. I'll live at home. No, we can go out. We can do everything else, but we don't have to live together. And I was really interested because I thought, yeah, I could just say, oh, we do this, we do that, we do something. Yep. You're already on the road to hell. But he stopped it. Yeah, and he called it perpetual courtship. I said, so I was like about halfway, you know, having it halfway in for years. He laughed. It was. I thought it was interesting, and that's what sort of where the penny dropped with the mouse experiment, the mouse utopian experiment, because I thought, yeah, Daniel has found a way to expand his world more or less. And yeah, he's got female company. He's got elements of what he wants. And she's got it too. She's happy. She seems to be happy. She said she's happy. And it's working. But it's sort of not a societal norm. Oh, no, I've got to do it this way. Which, so, if you can get my point, what this head mistress was talking about is, okay, now, and this is sort of like, okay, so we've changed the rules as we've got to train people to be different. And what MGTOW is saying is, no, you've changed the rules, so we're going to change the environment. Which is the way I see it. Yeah, we've just, you know, you've changed the rules. Now you expect to retrain us so that we do this, and this, and this, and this. And we're saying, no, we'll just change the environment. And you'll have to fit in with us. If you want anything to do with us. We don't care if you don't want anything to do with us. You know, and this is what Daniel was saying. You know, he wasn't, you know, bending over backwards. If she said, oh, no, I don't want that. I want something else. He would have said, well, okay, you have to go and get it then. Sorry, I can't help you. He was that stuck on the idea that, no, I'm not going to go there again. You know, I've been once bitten, twice shy. I'm not going there again. So she's had to put up with it. How she feels, I really don't know. He didn't really. So he said she seems happy enough. Yeah, they don't fight and argue and that sort of thing. Goes along pretty well. It's okay with him. His main concern is with his children who aren't doing, you know, what he would like. But anyway, that's a different story and nothing to do with this subject. But that's essentially the same. You know, so I looked at it and I thought, yeah, it's this sort of mentality. Oh yeah, well okay, we've changed this. You know, that sort of, you know, okay, the boys are going to move out, so then you move in. Everybody goes, yeah, until, oh my God, what's happened? Yeah, no, and we're doing what Daniel did. So nah, okay, so you've changed the rules and that sort of thing. Yep, okay, yeah, but we're not going to play that anymore. You know, we're not going to go that way anymore. We're going to find our own way to do it. I think that's the way I see it, and I think it's about right. But look, I'll talk more about this tomorrow. You know, in my own experience, actually, you know how I'm doing things, which are a bit strange, but you know, taking around the world trips on, you know, a virtual thing with a whole bunch of people is yeah, well, I guess that's sort of getting outside the realms of normality, isn't it? Anyway, good talking to you, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.